Hi, I'm Jen Brady. I'm the current beginning ELL instructor at Richwood Valley. During the spring 2025, I helped my students increase their CASAS listening scores by at least one level, if not more, by using ELLI, or ELLII, formerly the ESL library, by creating listening labs that they attended every Thursday. During this video, I'm going to demonstrate how I created those labs and how I added my students and content to each one of those classes. So let's get started. So welcome to ELLI. This used to be ESL Library if you have used it before. And I have used this almost extensively this semester. I found this through the large notebook when I started teaching, and it has been wonderful for my classes. We have done a listening library every Thursday for the very beginning ELL course, and I was asked to create this tutorial as to how I created that listening library, and I was happy to do that, or ELLI as I've been referring to it. We have an account through OTC, and so you'll log onto that account and you come to this home page and you first go into this tab called Classroom. And you can either create the class first or add your students first. I'm going to create my classes first, and I'll go in and show you how I do that. So I go into Classes, and so I have the very beginning course. And so based on their test scores for listening, I split them up into 3 different levels, if they were a level 1, a level 2, or a level 3. So you'll see right here how I created 3 different courses. So I have a beginning 1 ESL Richwood Valley, a level 2 ESL Richwood Valley, and a level 3 ESL Richwood Valley. So you do that by creating a class, and you're going to give that class a name. And so we're just going to say that this is ELL beginning test, and that way we know that we can delete it. I'm going to assign this as a manual. You can go ahead and do that suggested, and that's going to give you some content to put in it, but I want to create that content myself. And then they're going to ask you to tell them a little bit about your class. This is all optional, but if you're passing on your course like I am this semester, it does help the future instructor to let everyone else know kind of what this course was intended for. So for me, level 1 is pre-beginning, and then level 2 and level 3 were really beginning. So I'm just going to put this as a beginning course. Of course, all of our students are adult learners. And then what were we really working on? So of course, in our ELL courses, they're working on listening skills in the listening lab. And I'm going to save that. So now my test course has been created. I do have a class code that I can share, and I can do it over here as well, but then I need to create my student accounts. And you can either add them if you have created them ahead of time, or now I can go in and I can manually create my accounts. So I'm going to do this for all of my students that I have received new this semester. It's important if we have a student that drops, your student leaves the course, that you go in and you manually drop them. And it's because we want to make sure that we don't have to actually purchase student accounts. We only have so many in our free account. And if we're not actively using that, we can rotate these out. When I create their accounts, I just put in their first and last name. So we're just going to say that this is Test Smith. And then I create their username based on their first and last name. So I say that it is Test SM. Usually that prevents multiple accounts being created with the same first and last name. And then because we're not handing these out, this is not super secret information, my passwords that I create for everybody, oh, sorry, I use LastPass, and so it always generates like these really secure passwords. But my passwords that I create for all of my students are just password1. I don't know that you can actually see that or not, but that way it's really easy for everyone to just remember their password. Capital P, password, and the letter 1. And then you just create their account, and it's going to pop up and it's going to tell me, hey, do you want to write this down so that your student can remember that word? So I put this on a Post-it note, and I keep it with the accounts that I create for the students so that when we go in the lab, every 30 days when I have to run those new passwords to get on the computer, I can take that Post-it note off and I can put it on the next set of passwords, and I collect those back at the end of every class period, and I have their username and their password, which is really easy because this isn't sensitive information, for the account that they have created. Okay, so that's their accounts, and that is the classes. So then if you go back into Classroom now, if you click on Students, you should be able to see that we have an ELL beginning test. It has one student in it, and we have no information in the prepping, the teaching, or the taught, but it does have one student, Test Smith. So now I need to go in and I need to plan some lessons. So when I was planning my lessons, I wanted to go off of the information that I knew would be on the tests. And I wanted to make sure that they were the most prepared to take the CASAS. So I just searched for CASAS. And how was I going to find content aligned with the CASAS competencies? Right? And that's where I really wanted to look. And I kept looking and I was like, oh, there's a resource for the listening steps in CASAS. And so I went to that test prep. And CASAS test preparation, what? And if you look right down here, there is listening test preps, level A, B, C, and D. And that is how I assigned those courses. So level A, this is assigned to my first class. So when I click into it, I can just add it to class, and it says, which class would you like to add it to? And I wanted to add it to my beginning 1 ESL Richwood Valley. It's already added to there, so now I'm just going to add it to my ELL beginning test. And how do I want to add it? Is it prepping? It's content I'm going to be teaching, so I don't want to lose it, but the students can't see it. Is it teaching? It's already available. They can see it. They can go in and use it. Or is it something that I've already taught, and so I want them to be able to go in and review it, but they don't need to be, actively working on it. So I want to say I'm teaching it, and then I save it. The things that I normally put, just as an FYI, when I add content to my class, if it's going to give me an error right here. See, I can't add it again. So let's see here. If I go down here, I'm going to have to go back. Sorry. I'm just going to look at the level B and try to add that one. So just FYI, if I look at content and I'm like, this is a really good resource, but I don't want to actively add it to my class, I add those items to my saved. Things like flashcards that are content that I've taught in class that I think the students can use as a review. I usually save those in the saved file. So if one particular student in that group I know needs review, but not all of them, I can say, hey, go look in your saved folder and do those flashcards again. But I don't need to add it to the teaching because not everybody needs to be doing that lesson over and over again. But if I put it in the prep, none of them can see it. If I notice that all of my students have been getting really close to the end of finishing a lesson, then I will put the next level lesson in the prep, and that way I can move them all into the next level when they're ready. Instead of having to move the whole class over to the next level, I can just add the next lesson into that class. Okay, so that's how you add content. I wish you the best of luck in all of your classes. Have fun this semester.